Hey guys, D.Bowie here, and this is how Midone and Fly fight with Legion Commander. In this first clip, Midone gets comboed with turret and bolt, even though he had a ward revealing Kanka. Check his decision making. When he notices that the bolt is coming, instead of running, which wouldn't help him at all since the bolt was too close anyways, he uses press the attack. The cast point was buffed, and since it's so fast now, he's able to use it during the downtime of the torrent until the bolt hits. And well, that alone is not impressive, but after that most people would run away since Kanka is very tanky with the bolt buff, but he knows that the creep wave is coming, and since he saved his magic wand and overwhelming odds, he gets a kill even when faced against the odds. Legion Commander is really good in lane since usually you can pretty much trade hits with any melee hero besides probably Ursa and win the trade. While Midone is trying to annoy Kanka and maybe prep a kill since PA was top and Lion is coming invisible, Spirit shows up and check how he plays this. He gets silenced and check how he tries to align the creep wave and the enemy heroes. The biggest mistake lower level Legion players make is not abusing the early power of Legion's Q to make their targets low enough to secure kills with duel. Even though he doesn't kill the creep pitlord is TP into, he gets the duel kill. Another relevant part of this engagement is how he baits PA into dying. As you can see, her spirit's behind them, and if PA wanted, she could have disengaged with Blink. But since Midone saves the magic wand, PA blinks on him to secure the kill. But PA dies before Midone, which is pretty decent. This of course is way harder to pull off than it seems. Being able to predict how much damage you're taking during crowded teamfights is something that comes with experience. Before I talk about this clip, I want to point out something pretty interesting, even though minor, from Midone's skill build. The most common skill build on Legion is usually having 2 points in her passive and then only going back to them after maxing everything else. In this game though, there is some value in getting more points if you consider that Ursa and PA are both heroes that attack pretty fast with their skills, so lowering the cooldown on the passive can be better than in other games. I don't really like Shadowblade on Legion because usually when you go for ganks, it's pretty hard to use your Shadowblade damage as well as press the attack to guarantee solo kills, but he probably went for it to upgrade it to a Silver Edge because of Ursa and PA. Anyways, since Lion stuns Ursa first, he's able to do it, and then secure the kill even though not with dual damage bonus. In this footage there's nothing major going on, but I want you to pay attention to how he tries his best to always cast press the attack before dueling. It's not that huge of a deal in the early game, but as you get more dual damage, the value of the skill increases greatly, and it really annoys me that Legion players don't use it before duel when possible, even though they actually max it when they go to the jungle when they actually don't have any damage. But anyways, level 4 press the attack gives more attack speed than a moon shard, so please guys, use it. This clip is here to remind you again to use press the attack. Here we see a bunch of good decisions being made by Midone. He was near his ancients when a fight breaks out in the mid lane. The dream play in this fight would be using Blade Mail and Duel on Ursa before he's able to ult. And you can see that he tries to hide in the fog to do it, but with no success. He uses overwhelming odds to snipe pitlord while trying to get a good amount of creeps on it, but he ends up surviving. Check how he plays this. Most people would have dueled pitlord, but with press the attack and a decent amount of right clicks he can kill him, saving the duel for Ursa. And in my opinion, even though he dies, this was the right play. Even if they gave Ursa dual damage, what a lot of people don't get about Legion is that even if he can get really big with duel, you usually don't want to have him as your number 1 core, because the nature of the hero favors risky plays. Juggernaut is the real star this game, and not only they kill Ursa, but Juggernaut survives through all of that. Which is good for Dagger. This engagement has a lot to be talked about. Pudge hooks Ursa and check Midone's decision making here. While trying to duel Ursa before he pops his ult is important, if he already ulted, going after him like that would be impossible and even dumb, especially when he goes alone, since Pudge already died. So he ults the badly positioned PA and gets an easy kill. He keeps fighting with Juggernaut and check the X marks the spot here. While Midone runs, he does two very important things. The first one was dispelling the slow with press the attack, and the other one was running towards the side chop instead of running straight. Not only he's able to use Shadow Blade out of vision, but he makes it impossible for Kanka to cast another X on him. I'm not really sure if the cooldown was ready or not. I actually feel like it was, but maybe he didn't have mana or he didn't have vision because it's nighttime. This is an amazing fight, mainly due to clockwork. Midone approaches the fight with Silver Edge. When Clock lands the hookshot, he tries to approach the enemies, but Earth Spirit is being very annoying. But check how he plays after it. He's very low in HP and doesn't have Blade Mail, so trying to fight Ursa now is crazy. He procs the Silver Edge on Kunkka, and by saving and using both Magic Wand and Press the attack together, he right-clicks Kanka and Ursa down. I feel like he was afraid of using duel on Ursa since he was so low HP, and besides he attacks so fast with Press the attack at this level that by just trying to cast duel he could lose enough DPS and end up dying because of it. After all that, when he knows that pitlord DPS alone is not that high and Juggernaut is with him, he guarantees another duel kill. As the game goes on, players tend to try to initiate with duel every time, feeling like that's the only way to play or be relevant with the hero, and we can see here that this is not the case at all. Of course, Midone has Silver Edge, so his playstyle will be a little bit different from the standard Blink Legion, but even when he has the chance to duel Ursa, he refrains from doing so. Well, let's go back to the beginning. After trying to siege, they retreat, and Midone plays this pretty far back, even though he's pretty farmed and has a good score. In 5 vs 5 fights, it's not very good to suicide against an enemy hero unless the enemy hero is a core, and considering his items, there's no core he can actually kill that fast, especially with everyone from Radiant around. After the ults on Ursa, I can see a lot of people lining up in front to duel him, but it's a terrible idea. He has ult, and they also lost Lion, so he keeps playing very far back, and when they re-engage, check how he wanted to ult Ursa, but refrains from doing so. There's no point in casting duel on Ursa after he ulted. They guarantee that kill, and check how the fight evolves. Even when he casts a good press the attack, Radiant takes Juggernaut ages. The fight keeps going on, and check his positioning. The biggest problem of Legions is trying to rush things, and while there are lineups and teams where you want to be that initiator that explodes a core or a support hero, in these sieging situations against that specific lineup, his play is perfect, especially because he is a core and not a jungle Legion commander, which means that he can't be dying every time. When Radiant really commits, he casts Press the attack on Juggernaut, which actually benefits more from it than Midone would, and only then he uses duel on Kunkka. And believe it or not, it doesn't end here. Attacker is forced to buy back and check his positioning without duel. He's even more right in playing like that when he doesn't have it. And since they baited Radiant beautifully, Lion and Legion deal a ridiculous amount of damage, securing the game. This is a Fly game playing Jungle Legion, and just by looking at his skill build you can see the difference from most of the Jungle Legions. Seriously guys, I think it's okay to go Jungle Legion, but please don't fucking max press the attack. Why the hell would you waste 3 skill points to increase your attack speed even further when the cooldown and duration is the same? You don't need more than 2 points in your passive as well, and 1 point in press the attack to farm the jungle is more than enough, unless you're doing something really wrong. And in this clip, by actually looking outside of his jungle camps and pressing Q, which he actually learned, he gets a kill without even leaving the medium camp. In this footage, by actually having a human heart, he's able to buy Observer wards even though he's playing Legion Commander, and what is actually more impressive, he goes for a fight without finishing Blink, guys. People really underestimate Legion's impact in the early game. I actually talked about it in my Miracles Legion Commander video, which is actually a little bit old. But especially if you go phase boots, the amount of move speed you have with a decently placed overwhelming odds and phase active is really high, allowing you to duel anyone. Even though he gets there a little bit late and doesn't get the duel, they are able to force the tier 1 a little and guarantee a kill. I feel like he wanted to heal Ursa, but he probably misclicked. Another clip where Legion is able to secure a kill without Blink Dagger. He probably got afraid of not being able to duel Nyx if he casted Press the Attack. It doesn't end here though. As he runs away, check how he quickly dispels Thunder Strike to not get glimpsed back, and instead of running away to farm jungle camps, he stays around, and since he actually has a human brain and maxed overwhelming odds, look how much damage he does, guaranteeing him a double kill. I also want to point out that he's going for Armlet instead of Blink Dagger, which for me makes a lot of sense in this game. Not only they have Disruptor in the enemy team, which is a hard counter to Blink initiators overall, but they have long disables in all of the enemy heroes, making it very hard for him to get kills unless he gets solo pickoffs, which will probably not happen a lot in this game since Radiant doesn't have a lot of heroes that will split push with the exception of Invoker, and even then he has to take into account Center, ult and Nyx being around. I guess another point to take in consideration is that Dire has 2 natural Blink heroes, so he will have enough time to reach the targets Magnus and Sand King initiates as well. Well, this wraps up for today. If you enjoyed this video or if you learned something new, please guys give it a thumbs up, it helps a lot. If you want to see more of Fly's breakdown, please check the link in the description. And I can't overstate how this video wouldn't ever be possible without the huge help from the Pugna guys, so please show them some love. And if you're new to my channel, subscribe to it. I'm making videos like this almost every day, and I'm sure something here will spark your interest. Weaker heroes after he gave Bloodlust to their cores, while at the same time allowing Razor to get static link damage from Ursa. Also, Lifestealer approaches the fight in an Ancient Dragon to be sure he won't need to cast Rage far away from the fight. The Static Storm looks better than what it did, but this fight is amazing. If they sat in their base waiting for VP to clump up when they were pushing the tier 3, not only they would have lost a lot of map control, but it's pretty unlikely that they would get such a good fight. The element of surprise, together with the crispy play from everyone, completely changed the game here.